Let's go.
Hey, hello to the CYC families and the CYC students. I miss y'all. I love y'all. I'm thinking about you all the time. To my kids at Crown that I know, hi. And to my kids at Epstein that I see daily. What's up, y'all? How you doing? How you holding up? And to all the people that I don't know, hi, I'm Miss Kiana. I am a youth worker at Sydney Epstein, who was formerly a youth worker at Rebecca Crown. Something that has been getting me through this time personally is poetry. I think that there's a lot of different emotions people could be feeling right now, a lot of different ways people could be spending their days processing what's happening in the world. And for me, I like to get creative to work through how I'm feeling, but also creative to stay fun, creative to make things interesting. So I'm not doing the same thing every day. So I'm not just watching TV, but I'm also creating during this time, which I think is super important to stay creating, whether that's building a fort, whether that is making a puzzle, if it's writing a poem, if it's singing, if it's doing karaoke with your family, if it's dancing, whatever it may be. Was Gucci to my teens, to my middle schoolers, high schoolers. What I want to focus on for you all, how am I resilient? Or under I put we, so you could also phrase it as how are we resilient? Whichever way is easier for you to think about. So as I'm thinking about this quarantine, this stay-at-home order, just this whole social distancing, and for some of us, social isolation, I'm really trying to think as CYC, like the people who are part of CYC, the people who are in Chicago, and then on a macro level, worldwide, how are we resilient? How are you as an individual resilient, and how are we as a group resilient? This is really the first time that the world has dealt with something like this. Every year, there's kind of like an outbreak of something, sometimes even more than once in a year, but maybe it's just in the United States, maybe it is in Taiwan, maybe it's in Angola. There's a lot of things that happen all the time around the world, but this is the first time in my lifetime for sure, and even the oldest person that I know, they've also said this is the first time in their lifetime that anyone's experienced anything like this, where kind of no matter where you're at in the world, there's something that we truly have in common, all happening at the same time. I wanted us to think about, how are we resilient as a culture? And then if that's too broad of an idea, you as a specific individual person, how are you resilient? So this poem that you workshop now can be about coronavirus specifically, about how you're resilient during this time, or how you're going to be resilient after this is over. Even though we don't know when, we can picture the future. I do think it's a healthy thing to do, to think about what might be happening when this is over, to kind of keep hope alive. And then you can totally take this in a different direction if you would like. I think what's great about the time that we have in our hands is that we have a lot of opportunity to reflect. Poetry is my most respected and most beloved form of processing events, emotions, relationships, situations. I'm gonna give you an example of one of my absolute favorite poems that is, and it's about resiliency, although it does not have to do with this pandemic specifically. Maybe this can give you a glimpse of how someone may write, how someone may process complex, complicated feelings. In what ways have you survived before in the past? We are all resilient beings, because if you're watching this video, even if something was ridiculously difficult, you have survived things in the past, just like we will survive this. Start to think about those ways. Please share with me whatever you come up with. Ask me questions, send me comments, statements. I wish we could be workshopping this together in person. That would be my preferred method, but this is a really great time to experiment with our technology and how we can still be together without actually being together physically. But here is this poem. I took it down from my wall because I have it in my room right next to my bed so I can read it whenever I'm feeling. I typically tend to read it when I'm down because I think it's an uplifting poem. So here's my example by Eve L. Ewing. What's really dope about Eve is that Eve is from Chicago. This is called Affirmation, and she wrote this to the youth living in prison after Assad Shakur. If you don't know who that is, you should Google her. Affirmation. Speak this to yourself until you know it is true. I believe that I woke up today and my lungs were working miraculously. My voice can sing and murmur and ask miraculously. My hands may shake, but they can hold me or another. My blood still carries the gifts of the air from my heart to my brain, miraculously. Put a finger to my wrist or my temple and feel it. I am magic, life in all its good and bad and ugly things, scary things which I would like to forget, beautiful things which I would like to remember. The whole messy, lovely, true story of myself pulses within me. I believe that the sun shines, if not here, then somewhere. Somewhere it rains, and things will grow green and wonderful. Somewhere inside me too, it rains, and things will grow green and wonderful. Sometimes my insides rain from the inside out, and then I know I am alive, I am alive, I am alive. Oh, snap. I love that poem. Gives me a lot of hope. It reminds me of this question so much, so very much. It's how I got the inspiration for this question. How am I resilient? I mean, Eve mentioned and listed so many ways that she is resilient, but really she was writing this for youth that were in prison. So she's trying to remind them how resilient they are and how they can get through the situation they're in. So she says, when you wake up, your lungs are working. That means you're resilient. Your voice can sing and murmur and ask. Your voice can sing, it can talk, it can ask questions, it can make beats, it can do whatever you need it to do. Resilient. Your hands shake, but they can hold people. So your body works, but also you can use your body in an emotional capacity, in an emotional way. You can do service with your body. You're alive. You're resilient. She said, I believe that the sun shines, if not here, then somewhere. So remembering that even if it's a terrible day where you're at, somewhere it's a phenomenal day. And that somewhere could be right next door to you, your neighbor is having a great day, or across the world, somebody is having a phenomenal day. So it's basically another way of saying this too shall pass. This moment will be over because we are resilient. Moments are just that, moments. Somewhere inside me too, it rains and things will grow green and wonderful. So not just elsewhere are things great, but inside of me and in my situation, things are also great. Even when I'm having a terrible day, week, or month, there are still beautiful things that we should recognize every single day. There's at least one beautiful thing every day. And she says the last line, or the last three lines, which are my favorite. And then I know she's listing all these things. And because this happens and this happens and this happens, then I know I'm alive, I'm alive, I am alive. So I remember through all the ways that my body works, through the ways I interact with other people, the ways I communicate, the sun that shines, the grass that grows, the tears I cry, everything is letting me know that I'm alive. So this question, everything that's happening is letting me know that I'm resilient. I'm resilient in the mundane things that happen every day, in the things that are expected every day, such as breathing, my blood traveling, my hands working. So you could think in very small ways, how are you resilient? The way that Eve did. Or if you want to think in other ways, how are you resilient? Is your family getting creative with cooking? If you are really trying to make ends meet with food and you really have to get creative on how to stretch meals or how to make meals taste good or how to make it work for everyone, are you resilient because we have this technology right now that we're working with, so you can FaceTime whoever you want. If you miss your friends, we can use this technology to continue to learn and connect with one another. We can use technology to watch a movie and take our mind off of the things that are happening in the world, etc. How else are you resilient? How are you making this situation work, and how have you made situations work in the past? Because you are an incredible, resilient, amazing human being. How is the world resilient as a whole? So if you have, I'm sure you've seen or heard about many ways that communities are coming together to help one another. Neighbors sharing resources. CPS offering a meal every day for you all, if any of you have taken advantage of that yet. People with money around the world who are donating large sums of money to organizations, individuals who may not have income right now. The world is resilient because, honestly, because people are sharing funny memes and TikToks, and you're sharing art and creation so other people can be distracted, inspired, reflective, thoughtful. There's so many ways all the time that we are resilient. I think I've given you plenty of examples now, and now I'm just getting passionate and going on a rant, so I will end it here. Please share with me your poetry. If you really are stuck and can't think of a poem, do me a favor and just bullet point or write freehand. So just write without stopping and write a paragraph. Write something to reflect today on how you are resilient or how the world is resilient, either in the past or currently in this crisis situation. Leave me questions, leave me comments. Would love to see them all. I hope that we can continue to share in this way. I miss you all. I miss engaging with brilliant young people every single day. Have a good day. Try to do something. Try to do something healing today other than being on your phone or watching TV. So take a bath. Listen to a good album. Write poetry. Call a family member. Call an older family member if you don't live with one. Watch a documentary. All right. Stay safe. Stay beautiful. Bye.